You found a new self-improvement tactic from YouTube or from Reddit and you're so excited to try it, and it works. It literally works. For the first time in a while, you're making progress, you're feeling good, and suddenly you sabotage yourself. You do the exact opposite of the self-improvement habit to bring yourself back down to the baseline, and you repeat this cycle again and again and again. You've done this numerous times. Imagine if I had a rubber band. You've been pulling the rubber band with some force to try the new meditation or the cold showers or the NoFap or whatever tactic you've recently learned. You keep pulling the rubber band and snap. It comes back to the starting point. You pull it again with the new tactic and snap. It comes back to the starting point. You're experiencing these up and down days. This will never change. You literally will never get better unless you move this side of the rubber band too. There's two sides. There's the external world, the habits that we do. But more importantly, this side of the rubber band is your internal side. That's your self-perception, that's your self-esteem, that's how you view yourself. In the Red Pill, we call this frame. Through childhood abuse, because your father used to beat you or someone you trusted sexually assaulted you, this side of the rubber band is fucked up. Your internal side is fucked up. You think you're a piece of shit. And so you treat yourself like a piece of shit. You don't like yourself, and so you treat yourself like you don't like yourself. You feel like you belong in those down periods because that's your perception of yourself. That's the frame that you've set for the world, is I am that level. I should be at the level where I have depression. Because something happened to me when I was younger, I should be at the level where I have depression and I'm angry and I can't stick to meditation or anything. How could I meditate when daddy used to beat me? When this is your identity, when you can't move past this, you'll continuously be pulling this side of the rubber band, making progress, letting go, making progress, sabotaging yourself, making progress, sabotaging yourself. It's time to do the feminine stuff and increase your self-esteem. Now, this is the stuff that when I do say it on Red Pill, when I'm writing a post, a lot of the guys, the big macho, I'm a big masculine man, I don't do journaling. Shut up, bro. You don't do, that's such a weak ass, I'm too tired to do like a, just punch yourself on me. Journaling is very, very masculine. There's a reason why. I shouldn't even have to explain this, man. Just think about Marcus Aurelius, think about Bill Gates, think about so many successful people whose journals have changed their lives and the lives of the entire world around us. And your journal will change yours. You haven't exactly dove deep into this. You've thought about it a lot. You've resented the person who hurt you a lot. You think about that person often with hatred. When you look back and you think about that person and that horrible abusive moment with gratitude, this side of the rubber band will move. And that seems crazy, that seems really offensive what I just said. Be grateful for the abuse that you experienced. Up until you feel that, up until you feel gratitude for that abuse that you've held on to for so long, up until you can literally say that you are grateful for it, this side of the rubber band stays still. And you can keep trying it your way. How much time are you willing to waste? It's time to make some practical changes in your day, in your habits, to move this side of the rubber band. And it's actually a lot easier than you think. It's just your mind almost automatically might disagree with the advice I give you right now. Stop trusting your mind, because your mind's literally got you to the point where you're not happy in life. And hopefully you can just trust what I say. Start gratitude journaling immediately. Even if you've tried it before, if you aren't doing it every single day, you're not reaping the huge benefits from it. And so gratitude journaling is so simple. Literally just get your notepad and just write whatever comes to mind. I'm grateful for the first sip of water after waking up. What an experience. I'm grateful for the chat I had with Big Titty Debbie from Bumble last night. I'm grateful for the window blinds I have. I'm grateful for the story I'm writing. A fantastic project. I'm grateful for the boys. Nice and simple. And guess what? Every single time you write something in here, it's like your real life gets better and you're training the gratitude skill. So imagine that each of these sentences that I wrote down got me 5 gratitude experience. Well, do this for long enough, your gratitude level keeps increasing, and eventually you start to become grateful of things that were actually bad for you, because you look back and you start thinking, you know what? I am the person I am today because of that. And so I've got to be grateful for that moment. That's when this side of the rubber band moves. A fantastic piece of advice I could give you is to keep your gratitude journal right next to your bed and make it a new habit that the moment you open your eyes, you know, your eyes are still fucked up from sleep. The moment you realize you're awake, you start thinking about what you're grateful for and start writing it down. It only takes about 2 weeks, and after that it starts to feel normal, where you wake up and immediately you're thinking of things to be grateful for. I can't explain how powerful that is. The second new habit that I want you to build is called labeling. Labeling is a mental health technique, and it's usually used when we're talking about anxiety. So the person with anxiety will go about their day and then they'll get an anxious thought. So let's say I'm writing my script, I'm recording this video, and suddenly I get a thought like, oh, there's a guy outside your house and he might try to stab you. Well, if I dive deep into that thought, if I really play out the scenario, it's going to affect me more. If I start to label the thought, what happens is that it moves from the emotional amygdala, the emotional part of our brain that aims to keep us alive in that fight or flight mode. It takes us out of that, because that mode of our brain can't label, it can't like add a statement about something. It can just give you a feeling. And the moment you want to add a label to something, you move into the PFC, the prefrontal cortex. So that was a lot of sciencey shit. Just pretty much, if you label the thought by simply saying, oh, I'm having an anxious thought. For you, if you're experiencing this self-sabotage, you can literally just say, I'm having one of those sabotaging thoughts. Because it originates as a thought. It's not just a blind action. What happens is that you're doing good and you literally get the words in your mind that suggest or even force you to not do good anymore. So you've been waking up early and taking a cold shower, you're feeling good. 2 days later, you get the thought, no, don't do that anymore. That is when you need to be saying, no, that is a self-sabotaging thought. So for people who binge eat, people who are overweight, it's always the same thing. And this analogy of the rubber band works so well with guys who binge eat. They'll lose some weight through exercise and changing the diet, stretching the rubber band this way, and the sabotaging thought snaps back over here. The thought occurs over here. If you're a binge eater, when the thought starts occurring that you should go and eat the junk food, that's when you've got to label it. And I know it seems so simple and wishy-washy that I'm literally just saying to just say a sentence in your mind. The moment you label this thought, it's like all the negative thoughts that you had before it for the last 2 minutes, it's like they just disappear. Try it just once or twice and you'll be amazed at how powerful it is that when you catch yourself deep in thought, just make the statement, oh, it's one of those self-sabotaging thoughts. Oh, I'm having an anxious thought right now. Just start doing that. You're going to be amazed. And finally, the third practice that I highly suggest you get into is what I call deep journaling. So it's kind of like, we mentioned gratitude journaling, but this is a little bit deeper, hence the name. Mine's like underneath my bed, so I'm not going to grab it. But imagine instead of just doing it on a small notepad, you do it on like an A4 one. You can type it if you want, but I find that when you do write it on paper, it's so much better. And on this, you deep dive into it. For a client of mine that I'm helping, I've sent him these prompts for journaling. And so if you feel like your self-sabotage originates because of family, because of your parents, there's probably a 9 out of 10 chance that whatever you're experiencing with self-sabotage, you're having those up and down days, it's because either your dad or your mum didn't really treat you so well and they were strict, but strict is like a very tame word for what they did, or maybe it's a stranger. Well, here is the journal prompts I sent to this client. I said, what did my childhood look like through my mother's point of view? What caused her to behave how she did? How should I feel about her after seeing it from her point of view? He sent a screenshot of afterwards of doing this journaling. He messaged his mom like a bunch of messages saying, I journaled from your perspective. You are amazing, worthy, lovable, brave. I am thankful for what you have done for me. I hope you receive the love you deserve. I highly suggest you do some deep introspectiveness, because you've tried it this way before. You've tried doing the physical realm. You've tried meditating and all the fancy stuff that you're seeing on self-improvement. You've been flipping through the videos, hoping that something just sticks. And it can't stick because it's your perception of yourself. You don't have the identity that you can stick to these. And I know if I was watching this video a year or two ago, I would have just thought like, why is he talking? What the fuck's identity? Why not just tell me how many reps I should do in the gym? And so this doesn't seem logical, what I'm saying. And usually I just give you the logical answer. But this experience of self-sabotage is not logical. It's purely emotional. And no, it's not even emotional. It's purely psychological. Trying to move some psychological stuff with logic does not work. You've tried it so many times. Another client I had previously said it was always like he was swimming up against the river stream, and that he could, with some energy, he could swim up against it for some time and eventually he'd be pushed back. I said to him that when you do this type of practice, we're not swimming against the river stream. We're changing the direction of the entire river. That's how powerful this stuff is, and I really, really hope it works for you. If this is what you're experiencing, I will help you for free, by the way. There is a link in the description. We'll do a call. You tell me whatever happened, and I'll give you the best piece of advice that I can. Do the hard work, especially when you don't feel like it.